recently I was playing Fnaf 2 for another video I'm working on that should be coming next week. It had been a while since I'd played any of the original Fnaf games. I figured that it would be simple. I would play through a few nights, get some footage, write down some of my thoughts, and then add them into the script. But instead, I received a reminder on why people found these games so terrifying. It was only the first night, and I was only ever actually in danger for a couple of seconds. But that didn't stop the game from scaring me. So I decided to push the video that I was working on back, and instead talk about what I think made the first few FNAF games so terrifying. The fear of fear itself. I'm primarily going to be talking about FNAF 1, 2, and 4, since those are the games that I think really get this right. The basic setup for all these games is that you're confined to a space with very limited movement. The animatronics will attempt to make their way towards you, and once they reach you, you either perform an action to push them back, or you lose. There are exceptions where you need to be more proactive, such as the Puppet or Nightmare Freddy, but that's how most of the animatronics work. What this means is that most of the time you can't do anything about those threats. You just have to sit there and wait while they approach. While this aspect is present in all three of these games, it's weakest in FNAF 2 since you spend so much of your time dealing with the music box. FNAF 4 is also a little bit different. You can actually push all four of the main animatronics back, but for Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, you will still inevitably need to deal with them the way you're supposed to. FNAF 4 also has one major advantage over FNAF 1 and 2. The lack of cameras means that you don't know how close each threat is, which significantly increases the impact, and is one of the main reasons why I consider FNAF 4 to be one of the scariest in the series. If you're wondering why I decided not to include FNAF 3, this is why. FNAF 3's proactive gameplay is why I find it less scary than the others, because this is one of the best things original FNAF's gameplay style has going for it. You could argue that forcing the player to wait like this makes for poor gameplay, and that is a valid point, but I want to focus on the horror aspect of these games. But there is still a major problem regarding that. In later nights, the player will almost always be occupied with something, especially in FNAF 2. So as the game goes on, this aspect of fear weakens by quite a bit. But the reactive gameplay style is only part of the reason why these games are so terrifying. Anticipation. Let me explain. When you think of FNAF, a few things probably come to mind. Animatronics, convoluted lore, and jump scares. If you know anything about FNAF, you know that it has jump scares. They're the game's primary source of fear, but not for the reason you might think. Whenever you boot up a FNAF game, you know that if you fail, you're going to get jump scared. You also know that there's a good chance you won't see it coming. And this is where we get to the real main source of FNAF's horror, the fear of fear itself. The entire time you're playing, you're worried about getting jump scared, and that creates a lot of tension. So, ironically, more fear comes from being worried about getting jump scared than actually getting jump scared. Like, if I told you that sometime in the next 30 seconds you're going to get jump scared, you're not by the way, you'd probably be on edge up until the moment it actually happened, because you know it's coming, you just don't know exactly when. This obviously isn't a perfect analogy, since if the player does well, then they won't get jump scared. But that actually makes it worse. That means that whether or not it happens is left up to you. So you're under pressure to not mess up, because you're so worried about getting jump scared. So you have to make the right choices, possibly with only a few seconds to do so. That's right, the true horror of FNAF is responsibility. This is either pure genius or some incredible luck. This is yet another reason why FNAF 4 in particular is so scary. Whenever you turn on the flashlight or close the door, if you got it wrong, then you're going to get jump scared. And since you do both of those things so much, you are experiencing spikes of fear whenever you press a button. Because not only are you risking getting jump scared, you are the one who has to make the choice. All of this, from the reactivity to the fear of fear to making decisions, is why I personally think that the original FNAF games, excluding FNAF 3, are still terrifying. This video was a lot shorter than I was expecting it to be, but I still hope that you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe buttons. My recent videos haven't been doing so well, so it would help out a lot. Anyways, that's about all I want to say. See you later.